everybody, my name is Caden. This is my 2012 Chrysler 300S. It has the 5.7 V8 and all-wheel drive. I absolutely love this car, and since they don't make the all-wheel drive Hemi anymore, I really don't ever plan to sell it. But there's one feature it's been lacking, and that's Apple CarPlay. So there's a solution that you get from China, and we're going to see how it works. It's this little box here, and it works with your factory Uconnect radio and gives you CarPlay. Now, I'm going to be learning this with you guys because I've never done this before. There's no videos on YouTube that I can find to show you how to do this. My car has a broken Bluetooth module, so I don't know if that's going to mess with this thing or not. I have an aftermarket gauge cluster, I have an aftermarket Z Automotive taser. So there's a lot of stuff that I have aftermarket that I'm not sure how is going to work with this thing. But let's get into it and find out how it goes. Alright, first thing we're going to need to do inside the car is take out this center HVAC control unit, and there's really no delicate way to do this. Just kind of get in there. This mine's been out quite a few times. So this pulls out, and there's one little clip on the back. Push that tab down and it should pop right out, and we'll just set this aside. And now we have access to our bolts that hold in our main radio unit. Alright, so I removed these 4 screws. There's 2 on this side, 2 on that side. Here they are. Just a Phillips head or some sort of a nut, but the Phillips works just fine. These are my aftermarket lights. Don't worry about these. I'll have to redo those when I'm all done here, so I'll just be pushing these aside. Now that you have the screws out of place, you can just kind of wiggle this guy back up at an angle a little bit, and it pulls right out of there fairly easily, honestly. And I don't know how much slack we're going to have on these wires, so we might have to.
2 hours later.
Now what I found here is that these wires don't have hardly any slack on them, so what I'm going to do, pull the shifter out quick. All you got to do is take a screwdriver, pop that thing loose. Once that's loose, grab your needle nose, and if you come under here, there's this little tab right here, and we're going to pull out on this tab and set that somewhere safe. Now that that's out, pretty sure we should be able to just lift this off here. There we go. Alright, now that you have this out of here, removing the shifter does help. You get a little bit more of an angle on this thing. And you just gotta kind of wrestle it out of there. It'll give you more slack eventually. Now, one by one, I recommend taking a picture of this right now. So we have our 3 connectors down there. We have 2 on that side, and we have 2 big ones there. And I don't believe there's any way you can mess this up. I believe there's only one way these can go on here. These connectors are pretty easy though. You just pull down the tab and off they come. This is your radio antenna, looks like. This is most likely, I wonder what this is, my backup camera? Well, either way, they all come out of there super easy. So one by one, I can disconnect these. This one might be a pain. There's really no squeeze tab on this thing. Oh, right there. A little bitty one. Just a little bit of finesse, and this unit comes right out. And this is the brains to your Uconnect system. This is just the screen up here, and this is the actual unit that makes everything work. All right. Now that you got this unit out of here, we have to remove the screen to get the connectors up here. So now the screen, now that you have those 4 bolts out and you have the unit removed, it just pops right out of place with a little bit of persuasion. Comes right out of there. And this is a big freaking unit here, so be careful. So right now I'm just going to leave this loose with access to the connections, and I'll finish it up as I get closer to the installation. So this is going to be kind of a mess. I believe these are somewhat color coded, but this is going to be pretty much just a guessing game for me and for you. Once I get it hooked up, I'll show you guys what I did. But right now, as far as I know, this is your power, so that clips in there nicely. And like I say, there's no really way to screw this up. You just have to kind of play around and find out what goes where. So this plugs into this little splitter harness here. So that snaps in there nicely. Now these plugs, I believe, go one into the back of my stock unit here. So one of these will go, not that one. This one looks like the ticket. Ready? Yep. So there's that one. And this goes to your factory harness. So this is basically just like a bridge. So all your signals will be coming in here and out here, and this is going to kind of intercept it, and this goes to your CarPlay module. And I do apologize for anything I say that's incorrect or sounds silly during this video, but I'm an electrician. I'm not a car audio technician by any means. Just a guy who likes to try stuff out on his own and figure out how stuff works. Alright, so coming around the back here, this is just your Chrysler clock. This is your HVAC harness. I believe this wire is the one we need. This white guy right here. Okay, so I believe now what we do is this is our audio, this is our video in. So if I'm not talking out of my this doesn't fit. This also doesn't fit. This one, okay, never mind, sorry about that. It's your gray one. So I believe, yep, this just pops right in here. And this we can tuck away. Like so. And we'll route this wire down under the radio to our new module. And this gray one, which is color coded here, should be, nope. So I believe our LCD in goes like that. That would make sense. And now our LCD out goes in there. Alright, so here's what I got. I got a Wi-Fi antenna installed right here. This one just threads in. I have a CarPlay USB and regular USB just kind of hanging here right now. I got everything else hooked up except for, I don't know what this is or this is. This one says touch and this one says RGB in. I have no idea. I cannot find any connections anywhere that match up to this. I've used every harness they've given me and I cannot seem to find it. So we're gonna go ahead and just plug everything back in. Don't put it back together, just put it back, you know, the way it was, plug it in, and I'm gonna go hook up the battery and we're gonna go see what happens as far as if this thing works or not without these two ports. I know this is pretty much the same unit they give out for a lot of cars, so maybe it's just not used on this car, but we'll find out shortly. Alright, so I rehooked up the battery. And I don't know if the HVAC control module is necessary to hook back up at this stage, but I do want to make sure it works properly, so let's go ahead and just for the hell of it, plug this guy in, and let's try the key. Okay, that's good. Climate controls are still working. Still have audio. Everything still works. So let's try it. All you have to do is hold down the back button. Okay, interesting. So when I hold the back button, let's see if you can hear it. I hear it click, but when I do that, it locks out my screen and I can't do it. So I was really worried here for a minute, but we got it. So right here on the back of the radio, you see this pink connector? Factory connector for that one is this guy. For some reason, I still had this plugged in. I had it wired kind of stupidly. So factory wire goes to your gray, and your gray goes into your LCD, or no, yeah, your factory connector goes into your LCD out. because this one goes up to the head unit up here, the screen. So LCD out comes to here, and then LCD in comes out of your radio and goes to the LCD in, because this is where, you know, the signal goes into the radio, and then this intercepts it, and then it goes out up to the screen. So now all you have to do, hold the back, hear a click, and there we go. Okay, so here we go. It says ID core. Let's see if this is it. Come on. Allow. Oh, there it goes. So, sorry for the terrible music, but let's just load something up here. Okay, so right now we don't have any sound. So maybe that's the next thing I'll screw with. Alright, so did some more digging, and what I did wrong was it comes with this aux cable, and you actually have to connect one of them that says audio out, and this one will say audio in, I believe. Yeah, audio in, audio out. You have to connect those two together, otherwise you won't have sound. So let's try it. It worked pretty well last time I checked it here, so trying to get copyrighted here, but okay, so this is all still working. If I want to listen to radio, radio still works good. Push the back button. There goes CarPlay. And if we give it a few seconds here, it should connect. It did last time. Within 30 seconds it connects. There it is. So never mind. I think what I did wrong here. Press back. We have to be on aux. So you have to. There we go. So we have to go on aux. If your car still has Bluetooth working, it'll pop up right here. You can use Bluetooth for sound. I've heard that's better quality, but right now I just have this little jumper in here that they provided, and so it's jumpering my aux. So let's try it again. There we go. So there we are. It's all good. So let's work on putting this all back together, which is not going to be fun. But the other cool thing is my car did not have Bluetooth because it was broken, and I have no wires hooked up, and it's working perfectly. So huge plus. I didn't have to buy an extra Bluetooth module. I was really worried I was going to have to. So all right, so this is turning out to be a little bit more of a mess than I had thought. So the install was actually pretty easy. It's just the cleaning up of the wires, and I have a little hint of OCD, I feel like, so I don't want to see any wires. I want this to look nice and factory, so I ran the USBs right here, and I'm going to tuck them just in my storage cubby for now. I'll most likely add a better, more permanent solution in the future, but for now, that'll work. That'll be fine. I won't see them ever, and they'll be nice and tucked away.
2 hours later.
Alright guys, so this is a pain. I got a little bit irritated with getting that back together. Just, you need to have some patience, which I don't have, but there is a little pocket on the 300s. If you push the interface like this back and then push it down to the side, straight behind this thing, there's like a little pocket you can push it in, and then just try and get all your wires in there without breaking anything. It should be able to slide in there. Don't force it too hard because you'll crack something, rip a wire. But I did end up drilling this out, so now I have my USB right in there where it's hidden. You won't even see it. I got my lights put back in. Let's try it one more time, just to double check I didn't screw it up. Air controls are still working. Alright, so if we go in, so everything, still hear everything this wise, still have my factory nav, volume button still works, factory SRT pages, well I guess not factory, but there we go. And my CarPlay, look at that, I didn't even have to press the back button this time. As soon as CarPlay comes on, it automatically switches. Yeah, honestly, it went really well. And again, all you have to do is Maserati, and you can go back to this main menu. I don't have the password. I'm not sure what the password is to get into CarPlay settings, but there is a way you can change that. I might have to contact the company. But you can adjust like the radio brightness, the contrast. I mean, it really unlocks the factory radio It gives you a whole bunch of options of stuff you can do. Anyway, my camera decided to stop recording for some reason, but like I was saying, it's pretty responsive. It connects almost instantly. I have my microphone up here. I'll just have to stick it down. It has a little 3M tape on there. So hopefully phone calls will come through clear, because that's one thing, again, I missed with the factory unit. I had to do calls on speakerphone. Let's just try it one more time and show you how fast it'll connect up to my phone. So Beats, Dre, whatever, the factory load up screen. You have to be on aux with that little jumper installed, like I said earlier, for it to work. Let's give it a second here. Last time it connected all on its own. I didn't have to press any buttons. I was crazy impressed with it, honestly. There it is. Automatically opens up to the CarPlay menu, and like I say, it's not the most responsive thing in the world, but now if we do press back, hold it down for a couple seconds, it goes back to our factory screen, and I can get to my SRT, all that kind of stuff if I want to. I really like to have this up, so that'll be kind of nice. Hold back, there it goes, back to CarPlay. Alright, so here's a little update for you guys. I've had it on there for a few days now. I've taken on a few longer trips, like an hour or more or so, and it's been pretty good. It's not perfect. There's a few things that, you know, I'm a little OCD about, you know, being factory, like looking factory. But it's about as close to OEM as you're going to get. You get to retain all your factory hardware, all that kind of stuff. It's just like little things. Like when you put it in reverse, your backup camera doesn't come on anymore unless you hold down the back button and switch back. So that's a bit of a bummer, but you really don't, I mean, you're driving a little car, you really don't need a backup camera anyways. But if you ever do need it, you just got to press the back button for a couple seconds and it works great. Other than that, every time I get in the car, it's been flawless. Within 15 to 20 seconds, my phone is paired to the car, music is playing, navigation is loaded, everything's like, CarPlay just pops up on its own. So even if you left the car on the factory screens, it'll default to CarPlay as soon as it senses your phone, which I'm sure there's a setting for that somewhere in the radio, but I haven't figured out how to unlock it yet. But for me, that was a bonus. I honestly think that's great, just to get in the car and just leave my phone in my pocket and just not even have to think about it, and bam, it comes on just like a brand new 300 would. So I really did enjoy that part of it. The only other negative thing I have to say is the touch screen is a little bit funky. Let me kind of show you what I mean. All right, so here we are. I'm on the aux because you have to leave it on aux if you don't have your factory Bluetooth module working. So these steering wheel buttons, this one, and the ones in the back on the left-hand side still don't work. So that's a bit of a bummer, but you know, not the end of the world. If I ever want those to work, I'll just have to get a new Bluetooth module. So anyway, here's CarPlay, right? So here's the only thing I would say is bad about it, and that is, hold on, my camera's freaking out. All right, so here's what I was talking about. So the only bad thing really with it is the buttons are just a little goofy. So how can I put this here? I don't want to give away the whole location, but when you go to press buttons, it's like off. Like if I'm pressing right here, it won't do anything with this button. But if I hold underneath it like a half an inch, see, it's still not even doing it. There we go. It finally picks up on my finger. So it seems to me like the edges are off. Like, let's see, I want to zoom out and I can't get it to zoom out. I can only get it to zoom in because the zoom in key is really, instead of on the plus, it's just underneath it. So that might be all the way zoomed in, honestly. There we go. So this might just be a bit of a learning curve as far as learning where the buttons are. Like, it seems like the ones to the left here, it seems like the screen is just too big. Like, it needs to be shrunk down. Now, like I said, there might even be a damn a setting. I'll have to do a little bit more research on this thing and figure out how to, like, if there's a way you can calibrate the screen of some sort or change the aspect ratio to be like the correct size. So I've been struggling with that a little bit. But other than that, like I said, it's been pretty freaking perfect. I mean, for what you pay, it's a lot of money. I will say that. I mean, as far as car parts go, it's about, I got it for $300. It's normally like $600. For $600, I would say it's not worth it. But I've seen the same thing on like AliExpress or something for a lot cheaper. In that case, I think it would be worth it. For what I paid, $300, I think it's well worth it. Just to have it all CarPlay integrated. Works great. Sounds amazing. It did wake up the stock. I mean, I have the Beats audio. Made it sound great. And it's not the most responsive, but like I said, I mean, this is more responsive than the factory radio was, so I'm happy with that. And everything else seems to be still working great. As far as like, I mean, all my track modes, all that kind of stuff is all still here. All this stuff is still here. Everything is working fantastically, honestly. So anyway, that's the install video. I haven't made a YouTube video in years, but I kind of just got this thing, and when I got it, I really realized there was no straightforward YouTube video on what it is, how it works, should you buy it, any of that stuff. So I'm like, well, I might as well make one. So let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if I should make more videos on this car or, you know, a different vehicle. I have other vehicles I can make videos on too. Just let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I wasn't too confusing with the install. And I hope you guys found this helpful. So thanks for watching and have a good day.